Coming up on Mountain News this morning, some students are facing uncertainty after a football program was pulled. And state lawmakers are looking at ways to prevent non-citizens from voting.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 5:30 on Wednesday, June 19th. Now, first, let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. Starting off the morning with, yes, some very low visibility across the heart of Perry County. Outside our door, it is 68 degrees. As we look at visibilities from around the region, Ashland sticks out with a visibility now less than 2 miles. Also down your way at Jacksboro, the visibility now at 4. Temperature-wise, mid and upper 60s, lower 70s across the Commonwealth, as we expect a little bit cooler as you make your way across the state border into extreme western portions of Virginia. Pretty much low and mid 60s your way. Waves of clouds continue to move across the Commonwealth, so we end up averaging out to be partly sunny as we head through the day for your Wednesday. We keep it dry. Forecast high later this afternoon, up close to 90 as we continue that muggy feel to the air. Any subtle relief on the way, we'll let you know. Your first Alert 7-day forecast coming up in a few moments. Olivia?
All right, Tim, thank you. A teenager is dead and another hurt after an ATV crash. Deputies say it happened just after 4 yesterday afternoon on Neva Road, about 6 miles east of London. They say a 13 and 14-year-old were on a four-wheeler when it went off the roadway. The 14-year-old died and the 13-year-old was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No names have been released. One person is dead after a crash in Laurel County. It happened just before 11 p.m. Sunday night on Kentucky 490, about 5 miles from London. Officials with the sheriff's office say a pedestrian entered the roadway into the path of a white-colored Honda Accord and was struck by the car. 57-year-old George Lewis was taken to a local hospital where he was later pronounced dead. And another person is also dead after a crash in Wayne County, West Virginia. That crash happened on Monday afternoon on West Virginia 152. According to the Wayne County Sheriff, a minor died in the crash. There was a period where both lanes on that road were blocked near Skyview Drive, but that area has since reopened. The person's name has not been released. Kentucky lawmakers heard topics involving illegal immigration in the state yesterday. Secretary of State Michael Adams was first up to discuss the matter. He says the state constitution is vague when it comes to laws preventing non-U.S. citizens from voting. A constitutional amendment this November asked voters if they want only U.S. citizens to vote. Adams says he's seen no evidence that non-citizens have tried to vote, but other agency heads testified that tracking illegal immigration is difficult.
Again, and going back with the limitations of what we can actually ask of motorists that we have interactions with.
Burnett says if they do have undocumented immigrants, they treat them like an unlicensed driver. Health officials say undocumented people can receive emergency care through Medicaid. That does include labor and delivery, but there are limits to other services. In Clay County, a federal sentence for 2 men in a kidnapping case. A judge sentenced 33-year-old Kenneth Grubb to 9 years in prison. 19-year-old Landon Wagers was given 7 years. Prosecutors say the 2 men kidnapped and assaulted a man, bringing him to a drug dealer. The dealer then gave the 2 men methamphetamine as a payment. 3 people are behind bars after police found drugs during a vehicle search in Logan County, West Virginia. West Virginia State Police arrested Jamie Osborne, Alicia Weekly, and Dylan Bledsoe on 2 possession with intent to deliver charges. Police pulled the vehicle over on State Route 44. During the search, 3.5 ounces of suspected fentanyl and 9 grams of suspected cocaine were found inside. There was an overnight golden alert issued by the Breathitt County Emergency Management Office. Officials are looking for Billy G. Robinson, a 72-year-old male. He was last seen on South Folk Elk View area around 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Officials say he was last seen in all camouflage outfit. If you have any information, you are asked to call 911 or the Breathitt County Sheriff's Office at 606-666-3800. Officials with one Pulaski County Fire Department are asking for help finding a missing woman. Here's a picture of Kelly Goodson Stanfield. She is 42 years old and is described as having brown, curly hair with brown eyes. Officials with the Parkers Mill Fire Department say Goodson Stanfield is 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighs 152 pounds. She was last seen leaving her home in the Shadow Oak Drive community. If you have any information, you are asked to call 911. A rule change in Laurel County will block some students from being able to play football. East Bernstadt Independent Schools does not offer football. Because of this, their students have long been able to play football at North Laurel Middle School. However, as Samantha Valentino tells us, that will no longer be the case.
Our children were so brokenhearted and disheartened.
Mallory Johnson says her rising 6th grade son was excited to play football this coming school year. However, at Monday night's practice, she says East Bernstadt Independent students were told that practice would be their last.
It felt like a rug has been slipped out under us and our hands are tied.
In a statement to WKYT, Laurel County Schools said that for years, East Bernstadt Independent School students have been able to play football at North Laurel Middle School since the Independent District doesn't offer football. However, they say this will no longer be allowed, quote, due to insurance and liability. Sarah Adams' son is also a rising 6th grader at East Bernstadt who was excited to play on the North Laurel team.
If he doesn't go to their school, North Laurel Middle School, he wouldn't be allowed to play. So now he's not wanting to leave his friends that's staying at their school they've known for the past 5 years and preschool. So it's a really big decision that we're having to make.
Adams says she hopes the district will reconsider.
We'd like to get to the bottom of it, figure out what we could do, whether it be a waiver, something we could agree on, pay towards, anything that we could do to make it still be accessible for these kids and the future kids after our kids. They should still be allowed to play.
In Laurel County, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
One organization is taking its mission of care across the Commonwealth focused on access and advocacy. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from its second stop in Pike County.
Because all of you are advocates, whether you think of yourselves as advocates or not.
We want every community in Kentucky to be a thriving community, and to thrive, people need their basic needs met.
Kentucky Voices for Health and its partners are hoping to help communities stay connected with the resources needed to keep their people happy, healthy, and heard.
It takes a lot of information to know how to navigate the healthcare system or the public assistance programs that people need access to.
The 2024 Thrive Kentucky Roadshow parked in Pikeville Tuesday, meeting the leaders in the area to discuss medical benefits, food and hunger, child care, housing, and other issues that representatives say require all hands on deck.
And we want to make sure that the people who are here in this community helping their neighbors access these programs have all the information that they need at their fingertips.
While the program is focused on systematic change in the Commonwealth, it also zooms in on specific community needs, discussing policy and programs with the people who have boots on the ground.
And when we bring them together, they help us understand what's working in their communities, what might not be working so well in their communities, where the needs are, and we work on the policy piece of that. What do we need to change in our policies so that we are leveling the playing field for Kentuckians?
But speakers at the event say the agenda has to be put into action.
If you never speak up, you can't expect them to read your mind.
Saying informational access only helps if someone is in the trenches advocating.
We need community professionals to be advocating for policies that will really improve access to these services, that will reduce barriers to the programs that their communities rely on.
In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials say the group will continue its mission focused on educating and encouraging, with the next stop in Williamsburg next month. Find out how to get a seat at the series over on our website. When we return, Netflix is trying something different as the company tries to engage its audience in person.
Some of us waking up to some locally dense fog. The rest of us, some cloud cover issues with a nice sunrise. We'll look at how warm it will get today with your First Alert 7-day forecast. That's all coming up right after this.